Yo, what's going on, Lotus fam, and welcome back to the channel. Thanks for clicking on today's video. Today I bring you my version of the solo PvP build for all my players out there who struggle to find a team or don't have many friends to play with. So if this sounds like you, I got you guys today. But before we get into today's topic, please go ahead and smash that like button down below. It'll really help support the channel. And lastly, hit that subscribe button if you're new around here. We'd love to have you. We're close to 1K subs. I cannot do this without you. Let's go ahead and do it together. And with that being said, let's go ahead in today's video. For all my guys who love playing solo, who are struggling to find that one build that is a jack of all trades, that has a good blend of survivability and damage, look no further. This build does it for you guys. We are going to be utilizing a very specific weapon that does assist the survivability in face tanking a lot of these players, because since you are playing by yourself, the key element into obtaining manhunts is to stay alive as long as possible. So having a couple of these talents is going to be crucial to the longevity of your manhunt and your build as well. So without further ado, let's jump right into this. So the primary weapon that we're going to be using is the Eagle Bear. I think for most people, a lot of people have this gun because of one specific talent, which is tenacity. Headshot kills grant the tenacity buff for 15 seconds, and the strength of tenacity is increased by 1% for body shots and 5% for headshots, and 40 to 80% of damage taken is delayed until the buff expires, and all of the total delayed damage is reduced for each enemy killed while the buff is active up to 100% with 3 kills. So as you can see, the more kills you can generate in that time frame, the more delayed damage you can resist through tenacity, which is why I highly recommend utilizing the Eagle Bear for this build, because since you are playing solo, you're not going to have your teammates to depend pulling away for a med kit, swapping out with you, all that good stuff. Secondary is the Vector SPR 45 ACP, mainly for when players do engage a bit close to you and they push together. In that case, and if I need to reload the Eagle Bear and you do not have tenacity procced, this is a good weapon to swap out to in close quarters combat to kind of give you that extra DPS that you need. And before we move on to the gear pieces, specialization for this build, highly recommend using the Firewall because of that med kit. Really saves your lives at crucial times when you need to pull back and pop your med kit. This guy right here is going to help you, just give you that extra kicker to come back out to the battlefield, push up, and deal damage as you are regenerating armor. And also the Striker Ballistic Shield as well, which gives you that additional 12% damage bonus. Now let's go ahead and take a deeper dive into the build. First piece of the build, we got the Coyote's Exotic Mask. For this talent pack instincts, you and all allies gain a bonus based on the distance of the last enemy you hit. Now for me, every time I play this build, because it is an assault rifle, I do try to play from range when I engage, and depending how the enemy pushes me is whether I decide to push up close as well. But that's when this Exotic Mask will come into play, because as a backup, if they do, you will have that 25% critical hit damage to save your life. And even if you engage from further out, you would have an additional crit chance and crit damage to help you out as well. So for me, in my opinion, is I think the best in slot. Now let's go ahead and take a closer look onto the chest plate. We are using the Fenris brand set for that 10% assault rifle damage, and the talent that I'm utilizing here is going to be Unbreakable. Guys, when you are playing solo and you have no teammates to protect you, everything is going to be a one-man show. The highest priority is going to be survivability. Forget Intimidate, it's not going to save your life out there to obtain solo manhunts, especially when you are probably the only player going rogue in the server and you're going to be multi-group. This is going to save your life most often than not. And what's great is that I'm going to be pairing this up with a special backpack talent to give me even more armor as well. I am sitting for 14.5% weapon damage for this piece, 5.6% critical hit chance, 11.5% critical hit damage, and 11.9 crit damage mod on the bottom. Let's move on to the holster. I got the Cheska Vidioba brand set for that 10% critical hit chance. I got max attributes all around the board, weapon damage, critical hit damage, and crit chance. You pretty much want to stack all crits on the bottom and weapon damage on top as much as you can. And for the gloves, we got the best in slot for any DPS build because of this multiplicative damage to armor attribute. I did roll a blue core attribute on top for this, and I have a critical hit damage attribute on the bottom. And lastly, the final piece is the Fox's Prayer. You ever heard of an atheist in a foxhole? Me neither. Damage to target out of cover, multiplicative damage, best in slot knee pads of all time. I have a blue core attribute on top that I did recalibrate, and I have a critical hit damage on the bottom, fully optimized. Now let's go ahead and take the final look at the backpack and the final talent of the build. Drum roll please. We got the Grupo Sombra brand set for the 15% crit damage, and the talent that I'm sitting for is Adrenaline Rush. Whenever you are within 10 meters of an enemy, you gain 10% bonus armor for 5 seconds, stacks up to 3 times, and the cooldown is for 5 seconds. I feel like this is the best in slot. I do not have any other DPS talent because, like I mentioned earlier, survivability is going to be the key component in receiving manhunts by yourself, guys. You don't have any supportment from your team, so you want to stay alive as long as possible and let the build do the damage for you, which is why I highly recommend having as much crits as possible, as well as pairing them with the Eagle Bear, because tenacity is going to help you maintain that resistance while also dealing damage at the same time. Skills. What are the skills for this build? Man, first and foremost, Striker Ballistic Shield. You might as well use this onto your setup because you are using the firewall, so might as well gain an additional damage bonus. And it also does help you out to face tank a little bit before the shield depletes anyway, so you know, it's kind of like a win-win. If you're not a big fan of shields, you don't have to use the shield. You can go with Defender Drone, Bleed Hive, you know, whatever's comfortable for you. Secondary skill is the one and only, the Decoy, the best friend for all assault rifle builds because of the ghost infiltration factor that this guy gives you. I have tried using an EMP sticky bomb, but whenever I do flag up, for me, and a lot of people rush me at the same time, so it was hard for me to draw everybody within the EMP radius, and even if they got staggered, I'm still going to be getting shot from the sides and the back, so it wasn't really effective for me. Being more tactical and stealthy was the better approach because I can draw back, regroup, pop a med kit, and re-engage to increase my chances of staying alive and wiping out the team. Now let's go ahead and take a sneak peek behind the curtain and check out the statistics of the build. I'm sitting for 100,000 weapon damage on the Eagle Bear, 40,000 PvP weapon damage, 53.6% critical hit chance, and 182.4% crit damage. And I do have that extra 5% headshot damage from the Eagle Bear. I got the 8% damage to armor from the contractors and the 8% damage to target out of cover that doesn't show in the weapon statistics. Yeah, that's pretty much the build, guys. So I hope you found the video useful. If you guys liked it, hit that like button on the bottom down below and subscribe if you're new. Welcome to the family as always, and until then, I'll catch you guys next time. Lotus out. Peace.